me when to go. I'm ready. Sign. So you guys may have noticed that I'm not from around here. I'm coming from New York, and I moved to Mumbai a little over a year ago. And besides all the crazy questions of, do you like spicy food, are you married, will you meet my son later, etc., the question is, what am I doing here? So the real reason I came here is I came to India to start a movement. Bold statement, little egotistical, a little big, but I really came here because I wanted to help start a movement. And the movement I wanted to start was the Indian version of the fair trade movement. So I'll tell you a little bit about what the fair trade movement is about. Basically, it's about supporting poor farmers and artisans, helping them get a better deal for their products. So, has it been more than 15 seconds?
Yeah.
It's about supporting farmers. I mean, I can stick with that slide. It's about supporting farmers and artisans so they can get a better deal, so they can take care of their families and take care of the environment. And we do this through a number of things: providing equal opportunity, giving fair wages, doing environmentally friendly production. And so typically the fair trade movement, how it works is a bunch of these products are made in poor country and sold to rich country. But what we want to do is bring it to India by certifying these products. Consumers can now find products with a label, and the Indian label is the one you see here. And you, as a consumer, can go out and say, the product I'm buying is made in a socially responsible way. So it's a consumer movement. So that sounds great. I came here, I was excited to build a movement, but there's a bit of an issue. We're an NGO, and NGOs don't exactly have the best reputation here. You know, one of the main issues is that there's a lot of issues with trust around NGOs. A lot of people start NGOs to evade taxes. You don't know where the money's going. It's a charity model, so you don't think it's sustainable. So it's really hard to trust them. And even when you do decide to donate, it's a one-sided kind of relationship. You go and donate to these guys, but what do you get back? Where's the empowerment as an individual, as a consumer? How do you feel connected to that movement? I'm using a switch. So, one such example, I love Stripey the Cub and this whole 1411 thing, but you know, you donate money to this thing, but how do you feel connected to saving the tigers? You know, where was the extension of that movement to really empower people, to really create more than just a social campaign, but a real movement? You do have, however, really successful examples of campaigns that really involve people at the ground level. You have the Pink Chadi campaign, you have Jago Ray, that really empower people, young people especially, to say, hey, look, I'm making a difference, I'm taking an action. You also have the campaign Bell Bajao, which has been really, really interesting because not only do they have, you know, commercials about domestic violence, but they're actually creating projects where women are empowered to talk about their own stories, where you can actually go out and help in training campaigns and things like that. And campaigns are great, these campaigns are great, but how many of you know about Bell Bajao? How many of you know about the details of some of these things? Campaigns are good, but movements are better, and that's what I came here to do with the fair trade movement here. So going back to fair trade being about a consumer movement, or about changing habits, it's more than just you going out one day and buying one shirt with this nice pretty little fair trade label. It's about changing your shopping habits. It's about building relationships with supporters, with activists in the movement. It's also about demanding a change in the way we do business. And so I'm going to tell you a couple lessons that I've learned so far as we're trying to build this movement here, which has been a big challenge. One is that people make a lot of assumptions about whether or not a movement's going to work here, especially when it comes to fair trade. They say, oh, it's too expensive, or oh, I can't do it. Forget those assumptions. Another thing is transparency. It's really, really important for an NGO, especially here, to be transparent about where the money's going and exactly the kinds of people that you're trying to help. You know, and this is one thing that I've really learned that's kind of exciting, is that India gets the complexities. In the US a lot we talk about these NGOs like, oh, we're trying to ban child labor, oh, we're trying to make trade fair, but here people get that it's not so simple, and that's actually a real boon to NGOs. We kind of are able to express in honest ways that this is a hard task to do, to help people. And granted, you can't always drown them with information, so you have to keep it simple. The other thing, NGOs like to use celebrities a lot, and famous people can help. They can connect with new members and connect with new supporters, but they can't help build that community that really makes a substantial movement. The last thing I've learned as I'm trying to build this fair trade movement here is you have to increase the joy in the movement. This isn't just about guilt. It's not just about feeling pity for the poor of the world. It's actually about celebrating all the opportunities we have to make a meaningful change. And so what are we going to do to make a real positive movement and a real growth of NGOs in the world? We got to think outside the box, man. We got to get creative about ways we reach out to people. I can tell you we can use Facebook and Twitter, and those are tools, but we have to figure out a better way to communicate at a fundamental level. And so we can use those tools, the social media, all kinds of things, and we can use those to our advantage in the NGO sector, and I think that needs to be emphasized here, that we have to use those tools better to help people like struggling cotton farmers, to help people like him. And so there's a lot that I've covered just now, and I think there's a lot more people that are smarter than me dealing with NGOs and building new movements here and using social media effectively, and these are two people, and I'm sure there's a million others that have done some of this research, and I hope that this kind of moves you to help start a social movement in India, a new one.
I'm taking